Paradigm Shifters. Welcome to June, wow, June 28th, 2022. And we're so grateful that you're here. So very, very grateful that you made it and that you're here with us. So, so Paradigm Shifters, we are a growing global community dedicated to shift and uplift the entire planet. How's that for you? And right now we're reaching about 56 countries and almost 1,500 members. And I just wanted to appreciate all the people that have come together in this month of June when we're talking about your sacred body temple. How's that for you? And I wanted to start off with some promises about this journey that we're on. These are promises from a book that I read constantly, and it's the 9-step promises. So let's take a deep breath in here to this day and this life. Yeah. Then we're going to introduce our speaker. Yeah. So these are the 9-step promises. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we'll be amazed before we're halfway through. We're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We'll not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We'll comprehend the word serenity and we'll know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we'll see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We'll lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change, and fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. And we'll intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle us. And we'll suddenly realize that God, our Spirit, our Creator, is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. I just love that. I read that this morning and I'm like, okay, that's pretty appropriate. So I love the fact that our speaker today, gosh, Kit and I have been friends for years, and we've done some journeys together with Reverend Kit Holmes, and by any measure, Kit's musical gifts are extraordinary. And it's that she's been sharing her musical gifts in her mind, extraordinary mind and heart, around the country since 2004. Now, Reverend Kit is a licensed religious science minister and a certified life mastery advisor who recently returned home to her native Michigan after a 20-year stint in Austin, Texas music scene. So, yeah, this past summer has afforded Kit what she lovingly calls a ton of growth opportunities in every area of her life. And you can expect new songs, events, creative collaborations to come really soon. So Kit, I just love you. I so appreciate that you are coming in here to talk about your sacred body temple and your spiritual resilience. So come on in here, Kit. It's all yours.
Okay. Hi, Judy. Hi, hi, Liz. Hi, Carol. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. Yeah, it's not any real surprise that when Judy reached out to me with back and forth of the most recent thing that has to do with my sacred body temple, that I was diagnosed with breast cancer in early April. I have already begun some treatment. I've already been through one round of chemo, and I'm looking at other. Well, not looking at other. I have reassessed my treatment options. We can get to that a little bit later, but um, that when Judy said, "Hey, do you want to be on? Because the month of June is about the Sacred Body Temple." I said, "Well, yeah, I think I might have something to talk about." How that's all kind of unfolded in my experience, and what I think brought me here. Um, what you're seeing on the top of my head today will be gone on Thursday. My hair started falling out a few days ago, pretty profusely, and I'm gonna get the buzz cut or the head shave on Thursday, and make that a ritual, a sacred ritual of of transformation, really. I thought I was going to skirt this, like we tend to do. It's like, oh, that's not gonna happen to me. When we start going through some kind of a treatment protocol, and it's like, no, yeah, it's happening. So it's an interesting thing. What I'll start with around this was that about 2 weeks, or maybe not even that long after the diagnosis, was in meditation, dropped in that said, all of the work that I've been doing for many years, but particularly in the last year, just the last year long, to number one, recognize and then begin the process of healing, releasing, all of those things. The toxicity that I realized that was in my life, this was just a little piece of it that got trapped in my body. That's what came through in meditation. And to be able to look at it as the tumor is something that will be removed, and actually will be removed at the end of July, that I can put everything into it, all of the remaining, any little floaties, toxicity and beliefs, known or unknown to me, conscious or unconscious to me, that I can consciously put them into that little thing, that no dash thing, nothing, and have it removed. Oh, look at this light coming out of my head as I say this. To have that removed and be done with it. So the body temple, the body sacred temple, what I know in this just this part of the journey, just a couple months into this part of the journey, I know and have known for a long time the kind of stress that I have put my body temple under for years. Part of my consciousness work is, and this is where I'm learning and have learned in a big way, that yes, I can direct the flow of my consciousness. I can direct the flow of my energy. I can direct the flow into many areas of my life, including into my body. And in those times, when things needed to get done, or I thought they needed to get done, was pushing and pushing and pushing to get things done, and ignoring the signs that my body, that was designed to tell me when it is out of balance. My body is built to tell me when it's out of balance via pain, via other things. I was doing that little infamous thing that we tend to call either spiritual bypass, or, for lack of a better formality, sticking my head in the sand and saying, no, I can consciousness my way past what my body is telling me. And of course, I'm here to tell you, my body said enough already. As things have come up for me over the years, particular and the last, in forever. I get massages, I get acupuncture, I get those things to relieve the things that I have gone too long to let build up in my body. I'm on the new track of preventative side now, of not only releasing the things, and helping to move the energy through my body, but I'm also looking at this new way of going, no, this is self-care. This is the extreme self-care And I know, Liz, you've heard me talk about this in certain things of how important that is. And it's about time that I've learned to practice what I preach, I think, in that regard. So what I recognize is that every time I would go in and I would get acupuncture, or I get blood work done, or I get some certain things done, and I've been using, integrative medicine for a number of years. And most every single time they would look at my numbers, they would look at things, they would look at what's going on in my body and so forth. And they would say, your adrenals are kind of shot. How much stress are you under? I'm like, a lot, a lot, a lot. Every time I take supplements and I would do things to, for a short time to support my adrenal system and get that back up. And guess what? Lo and behold, when I went in this time to acupuncturist and talk about supporting my way through this diagnosis of cancer, the first thing was, he said, yeah, your left side is pretty much just shut down. And if you're aware about the energy systems in the body, the left side is our receiving side. The left side is our feminine side. It is our receiving side. And I came from a growing up place. The paradigms of my youth were taught, I was taught very early on, that I was selfish for wanting to have my needs met. Not going to go into that today, but it feeds really, really, it's a very important part of this healing journey. It's a very important part of my learning the toxicity that I talk about that brought the cancer to me. It's been lifelong. It's a lifelong belief system of, I'm lazy. So what did I do to overcome that? In order to be loved, I became a workaholic. I became that I'm going to show you just how not lazy I am. And I was one of those people that felt horrendously guilty in any of the jobs that I had. When I was really genuinely sick, I felt guilty for taking a day off. Oh my God, what are they going to think of me? And the really toxic thought, the double-edged sword of that thought was, they're not going to believe me when I tell them I'm sick. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go in practically on my deathbed with, whether it was bronchitis or whether, some kind of a thing. Well, that wasn't really smart, but it's like I'm proving to you how sick I am and how much I must stay home today and take care of myself. And it took me years to say, you know what? I don't have to do that, obviously. And then moving beyond that place to saying, it's really okay to say, I just need a day off. I need a day off. So I have a story that I've shared sometimes in some of my talks about this very thing. And this is what, 2022. So this was, gosh, I think it's 10 years ago now. Actually, it was 10 years ago, 2012. And I was having one of those days of, my to-do list was, exponentially much, like could have filled up beyond the rest of my foreseeable lifetime on that particular day. And I was getting a strong urge from my body to just stop, take a rest, take the day off. You've been just blowing and going and blowing, on and on and on. And first thing in the morning was, no, I'm up, I got to get going. And the dogs need to be walked. So I'm just going to take a quick walk around the neighborhood, get that out of the way. And then, then I'll sit and I'll journal and I'll do this. And, the dogs got to really be taken for a walk. So I go about, getting everybody hooked up, and 2 dogs at the time, took them for a walk around the neighborhood. I'm doing my business. I come around a corner and I didn't feel it first. I heard in my mind's eye, my mind's ear, I hear snap, snap. And the next thing I know, I'm down on the ground. I'm like, what just happened? And I realized that I hit, just walking. I wish there were a better story. Walking down the sidewalk, I hit something on the curb or hit something in a cutaway. and tore a bunch of ligaments in my ankle. So I'm down on the ground with two dogs, and I'm about maybe between a quarter and a half a mile from the house. I'd say quarter. It was long enough. Let's just say that, far enough away. And I'm calling my partner at the time. I'm calling friends. I'm like, hey, 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 nobody's answering. Like, oh, now what do I do? Well, I got two dogs on a leash. I got to get home. I of course try to step. I can't walk. I can't put any weight on this ankle. And somehow or other, I managed to hobble my way home, hopping. I don't know how I did. And I get all the way to the front door, and of course, my heart is just my with the stress and the everything else. And I get get the front door open, and I'm literally like falling through the front door, laying on my back in the halfway out of the door, halfway in the door. Get the dogs in the house, and I look down, and I let go of the leashes, and in my hand, I'm still holding the bag of dog poop. I'm like, I was so, golly darn, I'm still going to be a good neighbor. I'm not going to leave that poop in somebody's yard. I can't walk. My body is stressing because it's in trauma, it's in shock. And still calling people. I drove myself to the emergency room. And in that mind thing, instead of just pulling up to the damn door and saying, I need some help, I parked. I didn't park in a handicapped spot. I parked way the hell over, and I hobbled my way into the front door of the emergency room. And they're looking at me like, oh my God, do you need some help? Do you need a wheelchair? I'm like, no, yeah, I do. My mindset was so strong in that I have to do this myself. I have to take care of this myself. I'm causing other people problems. I didn't do this right. That mindset was still saying, you are not enough. You are lazy. That's how extreme that mindset was, that pushed me, that kept pushing me, pushing myself into, I have to do more and more and more and more to do this right. Well, that good old sprained ankle took me off my game for at least 6 weeks. And of course, at 3 weeks, I'm like, nope, I'm up and I'm walking around. I'm going to treat it. It's like, no, down you go again. Sit down and be still. Sit down and rest. Sit down and take care of yourself. Sit down and reassess and look at what's happening in your life right now. That was 10 years ago. So all this is to say, I don't know if you can all relate to that, but this is the invisible, sprained ankle. I can see it. I'm on crutches. I'm in a boot, to be able to be mobile. I can't see a cancer tumor from outside my body. Nobody else can see that tumor from outside my body. But I know that this is something I can't just gloss over, walk away from and say, oh yeah, I mean, I could, that's an option. It's a choice. But what I know, as I said, as I got in that meditation, was this is where the game really changes. I have been doing a lot of work, and a lot of very intense inner work for the last year. I have been through a lot of things that have prompted doing that work. One major life event is enough, and in the last year I've had 5. This is the change the game now, or you're not going to make it. And so it's a gift, it's a blessing, it's humbling as all get out. And this is just the beginning of the journey. Just the beginning of the journey. I'm learning how much love and support I do have, because I've had to open to it. I've had to open that receiving side, even if it meant I am literally down on the ground, like rocking in the fetal position, going, okay, I give, surrender. And that's been the lesson, even before the cancer diagnosis. That's been the lesson this year, has been surrender. Surrender Dorothy, the Wicked Witch writing it in the sky. Surrender Dorothy. You don't have any choice. You don't have a choice not to do this anymore. You have to. And amazingly enough, because this is how it works. This is how we know it works. When we get ourselves out of our own way, get our bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuits, as Emerson says, get our bloated nothingness. Oh my God, all our drama, oh my God, our stories. Spirit, the universe, that universal energy is standing right there waiting to give us exactly what we need in every single moment. And through I teach this and I learn this and I've known it and I've watched it, yes. And I've looked at it in all the other areas of my life, except for my health. And this body temple, of course, is the vehicle that allows me to be here on this time, this planet, this time and space, this plane, time and space continuum that supports the consciousness. I mean, the consciousness will go on forever, but not in this form, in this body. But this experience right here and right now was given to me, and in some circles, and sometimes I believe it, sometimes I don't, that I made an agreement to come in and do this way, this time, in order to learn. On the days when things are going well, I'm like, yes, I did. Yes, I chose this. On the days when it's not going so well, I'm like, no, no, I didn't. And I got to take care of it. One of the turning points is coming into this year and preparing for this year was knowing, just that milestone birthday. I turned 60 in May. And it was, I changed at the beginning of last year, 2021. I made a lot of decisions as I was graduating from ministerial school. I had started taking care of my body. I changed the way that I was eating, and I dropped 30 pounds that had crept up on me over the last in 10 or 12 or 15 or so years, 10 or 12. And I was like, no, I don't want to, that's part of the stress on my body. I don't feel good. I don't feel like I look good, and whatever it is, but I had already started making those changes. And then here we are, like a year into that, going, okay, next level self-care, of this temple. So there we are. Here I am. And thanks for having me here today, Judy.
I would love that. This I love your journey and this resilience, and it's like a some kind of like a spiritual resilience that you're having. So can you tell us about that level of surrender, that level of spiritual surrender?
Yes. It's practiced. It's practiced like everything else that we learn. I've been in New Thought for 25 years now. It's something that I found as resonated as that with me. That was, again, I was the student at that time. The teacher will appear, and Science of Mind or Religious Science came via a friend who had gone to a Unitary Universalist church. At the time I was living in Georgia, in the North Georgia mountains, 2 hours away from where I lived. And she came back, and I don't know, we met for coffee or something, and she hands me this magazine and she said, "This sounds like you." And I said, what is this? And she said, "I don't know, it was laying on this table, this big folding table in this room, nothing else on the table but that magazine." And she found it, picked it up. She said, "Sounds like you." And so it resonated with me at a deep enough level where I was at that point in my life, in the healing journey that I'd been in, from that to that point of exploration of the spiritual, returning to some kind of a spiritual life. And I learned from that, the teaching and diving in, and then leaning because I saw the result. I kept seeing.
Yeah. Wow. This is really good. So if you could give like the paradigm shifters like a some kind of a tool or something that you use when your body is speaking to you, what is like something that you use that is that over the years that you use to like click into self-care, or maybe you teach.
I go into it's asking, asking my higher self, asking spirit, what does my body need? What does my body need today? Not this. And checking into the soul place, to the heart place, because this is where the truth lies, not here. This is a very deceptive machine that we have sometimes in our to use. One of the biggest influences that I had, that I have used for years, is a book called Anatomy of the Spirit, Carolyn Mace, or Miss, MISS. And I taught a class on this a couple of years ago. Yes, yeah, Liz, I think you were in it. Was there's just layers and layers and layers, but the first and foremost is doing a body scan and checking in. Where am I today? How did I sleep? Am I weary? Am I, did I wake up just cranky? Did I, and it's doing that, checking in with the higher self. What do I need today? And it's practice. Again, it's paying attention and trusting, not only trusting what I hear, but doing the actionable things on trusting. It's not just going, oh yeah, sure, I should do that. It's no, actually following that. Because it does lead, as I said earlier, to that the doors open automatically. What needs to happen flows, really, really flows. It's saying, okay, I'm having this conversation with the universe, whatever name you give it, the universe, the infinite power, the infinite intelligence, doesn't matter. What is mine to do today? That's another good question. Who am I to be today? That's a really powerful question. Really powerful question. Who am I to be? It's not, we can get caught up in the what am I to do, to do. Who am I to be? Really kind of lands a whole lot deeper. And that's been the practice. And then I do a body scan. Do I need to stretch today? Do I need to take a walk today? Do I need to just sit and rest and watch movies, or, I get my head out of my so much thinking. What's going to drop me into my heart? That's the really big practice right there. That in that being is dropping me into my heart, because I can way overthink myself out of so many things. And, and again, the teaching in all of this is, wherever you are in your journey, if you're just starting out and you're just getting into something of what is this consciousness stuff? Recognize, number one, to be gentle as you're learning it, like you're learning anything else. You are not an expert right out of the gate. No matter what we attempt, no matter what we go after, we are not experts when we start. We're going to fumble a little bit. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure out what works for us. And certainly we will get a lot of opinions from other people about what they think is good for us. And I can tell you that with choosing where I share a cancer diagnosis, because I get a lot of opinions on what people's experiences, their filter. I don't shun them. I don't say, oh, that's wrong. Anything's just like, they have their own experience with it. But it's that checking in. What is the highest and best for me, not anything else? What's the highest and best for me? What does my body need today? What does my soul need today? What does my heart need today? And then just doing a scan and saying, where are things feeling a little tight? Where can I stretch a little? And that's metaphorically as well as physically. Where can I stretch a little bit today to open up that space and see if there's anything more that needs to be known? And that's a good question too. What do I need to know today?
Mm. Ah, amen. Amen. Wow. Thank you so much, Kit. So, what is it, as a community of paradigm shifters, we would love to ask you, what is it that you would love to have us hold for you on this journey? And yeah, what would you love? What is your vision that we can hold for you as a community? What would you love, Kit?
I would love, absolutely love, to be holding that you hold that vision of my wholeness that I know already exists in that mind. That wholeness meaning the perfect, all of my systems, all of my body systems, all of my cells, my bones, my everything else. There's that wholeness, and it's a vibrant health. It's a vibrant, balanced health, vibrant and balanced in all ways, mind, body, soul. And that this opening, this opening that I am willingly stepping into is always filled with joy, and that always recognition that spirit, that the source, whatever we call it, is always in my favor. Always, always, always in my favor. It's just that reminder that, yeah, in everything, yes, perfection. In everything, perfection. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, okay, here we go. Awesome. Perfection. Yeah. All right, here you go, Kit. Ready to receive. A lot of receiving. Ready to receive. Like, whew. There you go, Kit.
Absolutely.
Oh, there you go. Thank you so much for coming on. We look forward to this journey with you. Yeah, totally.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you for having me on again.
Uh,
Always a pleasure.